Welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. So we are making white chicken chili. I've got 2 fairly large chicken breasts here, and then I'm going to add some broth. This is chicken broth with some ranch powder and some taco seasoning. I will have the actual recipe linked down below for you, or typed out, whichever one. But this is the recipe that I use all the time. I'm also going to add some kidney beans and some black beans. I like using the white cannellini beans because it's white chicken chili. And then the star of the show and the secret ingredient is a jar of salsa verde. So just mix that all in together, and then you're going to add some cream cheese and let this cook on low for 5 to 6 hours, just until your chicken is cooked through. And then you're going to take it out, shred the chicken as much as you like. And I had used the Aldi cream cheese and it didn't melt very well, so I kind of had to fish it out and put it in a blender with some of the broth. But after I did that, it all worked out. Just a little extra step, but I feel like if you use like name brand cream cheese, it would melt down perfectly. And then we always just serve this with some corn chips or tortilla chips and some cheese on top. Next, we are making one of our absolute favorite things. This is lasagna soup. So I've got a pound of ground beef here. I'm just going to season with some onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper, and just cook that until it is cooked through. To go along with this, I had some Rhodes dinner rolls that I let rise throughout the day, and I'm just going to stuff these with some cheese and make some little garlic knots. I thought this would be a good way to use these, and also just a good side for dinner. So I'm just stuffing these with some cheese and rolling them back up. And you might worry that, they wouldn't turn out perfectly, but honestly, they did. I think I put a little bit too much cheese in them because some of the cheese oozed out, but it was still super delicious. Moving on back over to the soup, I've got some water here. I'm just going to make up some beef broth. So I've got 4 cups of water here, adding 4 teaspoons of the Knorr beef broth. I'm going to throw that in my pan with some homemade marinara sauce that I made, and then also a can of diced tomatoes. I did drain the tomatoes because I didn't want too much liquid. And then to my soup as well, when I use this marinara sauce, it is still a little bit acidic, so I did go ahead and add just a tablespoon of sugar just to kind of cut down on the acidity a little bit. So that's probably something that you won't do in your recipe, but just wanted to add that in. And then I'm going to add in the ground beef that I cooked earlier, and we're actually just going to bring this to a boil, and then we will add our noodles. Now that it is boiling, we're going to go ahead and add noodles. You can add whatever kind of noodles you like. We've done cheese tortellini, I've done ravioli, just regular, shells, just whatever you want, whatever you have on hand. And then now that the garlic knots are out of the oven, I just made up some garlic butter, and I'm going to brush that on top, and this will be done. So I ended up serving my plate with some cottage cheese inside of it, and like in the bowl, and I've never done that before, and it is absolutely delicious. I don't care for ricotta, but the added cottage cheese was so good. This is definitely one of our family favorites, and I highly recommend that you try it. Next, we are making some Korean beef bowl. So I've got some rice here that I'm going to make in my Instant Pot. I have made rice in the Instant Pot in my videos a million times. So if you want to know how I do that, just go back through my What's for Dinners and you'll surely find it. It's fairly easy, but we're going to go ahead and make up the sauce. So I did double this sauce, And I will link the recipe that I use down below. But basically, it is soy sauce, sesame oil, garlic, brown sugar, and you're supposed to add some ginger, but I just leave it out because I don't cook with it very much, so I don't ever buy it. And I still think that it turned out really, really good. And like I said, I did double the recipe, so I would recommend doubling it. I had these wonton wrappers on hand in my fridge that I really just needed to get used up. So I decided to cut them into strips and just kind of toast them in the oven just for some added like crunchiness to the top. And I'm just cutting them into threes, and then I'm going to spray some oil on them and just add some salt. And I think I cooked these at like 375 for maybe 8 minutes. I ended up cooking them just a little bit too long, and I did not spread them out. So some of them were touching, so they didn't all get done, but it turned out fine. Everyone loved them. It was just a nice little extra thing. Probably wouldn't do it again, but it was nice to be able to use these up. Moving back over to the ground beef, I'm going to go ahead and add my sauce in. And it says that this should be fine. It doesn't call for any cornstarch, but I think that because I doubled the sauce, it just was not thickening like it was supposed to. So I let it boil for a little bit and it just wasn't thickening. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and add a cornstarch slurry. So that is what I did, and definitely recommend if you want it to be a little bit thicker. And this worked perfectly. It turned out into a perfect little sauce. And honestly, my kids absolutely love this. I didn't care for it just because I'm not a big fan of this flavor profile, but my kids and my husband absolutely loved it, and they all asked for seconds. Here's what everything looked like when it came together, but that is going to be it for this week's What's for Dinner. Hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure and give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please subscribe. Other than that, see you in my next one. Bye.